The recent conflict between Israel and Iran has indeed been a significant event, marking the first time both nations have directly struck each other's territories. The scale and composition of the attack launched by Iran on April 13, which included 130 ballistic missiles, 30 cruise missiles, and 170 kamikaze drones, suggest a considerable show of force. The fact that Iran reportedly gave a 72-hour warning to neighboring countries, which may have been passed to the United States, indicates that Iran's intent might have been to demonstrate capability without escalating to full-scale war. This theory is supported by the delay in Iran's response to the Israeli strike on their embassy in Syria and the relatively small proportion of Iran's ballistic missile arsenal used in the attack. The cost of the Iranian attack is estimated to be around $200 million, while the cost to Israel for intercepting the attack with their anti-air defense munitions is estimated between $500 million to $1 billion. This disparity in costs could suggest that Iran's strategy was to impose a financial burden on Israel's defense system without necessarily causing extensive damage. The effectiveness of Israel's air defense systems, particularly the Iron Dome, which reportedly intercepted most of the incoming threats, has been a critical factor in mitigating the impact of the attack. However, the question remains about the sustainability of such defense efforts over a prolonged period, especially if Iran were to continue with similar attacks. Both nations have showcased their military capabilities, with Iran demonstrating its offensive reach and Israel its defensive prowess. The situation remains tense, and the international community is closely monitoring the developments to prevent any further escalation. It's a delicate balance between showing strength and avoiding a larger conflict, and the recent events have indeed revealed much about the capabilities and intentions of both sides. The timing of the drone launches, intended to coincide with the arrival of ballistic and cruise missiles, suggests a deliberate strategy to confuse and saturate Israel's air defense systems. This approach indicates that Iran was not merely posturing but was aiming for a significant impact. Despite this, the interception rate by Israel and its allies was remarkably high, with reports indicating between 95 and 99% of the incoming threats were neutralized. This high success rate may not have been fully anticipated by Iran, considering the lower interception rates observed in other conflicts. The fact that a portion of the Iranian missiles failed to reach their targets, as detected by U.S. military surveillance satellites, points to potential reliability issues with Iran's missile technology. Additionally, the 12-day preparation period before the attack could suggest logistical challenges in mobilizing such a large-scale offensive. The Institute for the Study of War, ISW, has analyzed the situation, noting that Iran's strike package was similar to those used by Russia against Ukraine. The limited damage caused by the Iranian attack suggests that they may have underestimated Israel's defensive capabilities, which are more advanced compared to Ukraine's. The combined efforts of Jordan, Israel, the United Kingdom, and the United States were crucial in intercepting the incoming missiles. However, there is no certainty that such an allied response would be available to Israel in future conflicts under different circumstances. The simultaneous rocket fire from Hezbollah on the same day as the Iranian attack could have been a coordinated effort to further challenge Israel's air defenses, or it could indicate a more restrained approach by Iran, hinting that they could escalate further if desired. The question of why Iran did not utilize more of its ballistic missiles from its reported stockpile of 3,000 could be attributed to the limited number of missile launchers available, which restricts the volume of fire per salvo. The public nature of such a large-scale attack also means that the extent of the damage would be highly visible, which could have strategic implications. Following the attacks, damage assessments have revealed that the impact on Israel was limited, with only a few Iranian missiles hitting their targets. The targeting of the Netivim air base, where the strike on the Iranian embassy in Syria was allegedly launched, suggests a retaliatory motive by Iran. This complex situation highlights the intricate balance of power and the strategic considerations that govern such military engagements. It underscores the importance of understanding the capabilities and intentions of adversaries and the need for continued vigilance in the face of evolving threats. The tensions between Israel and Iran are rooted in a long history of geopolitical conflict and differing regional interests. Israel's attack on the Iranian embassy in Syria was reportedly motivated by the belief that Iran was using the embassy as a base to coordinate attacks against Israeli targets. This move was seen as a significant escalation because embassies are typically considered sovereign territory and are protected under international law. The subsequent missile strikes by Iran, which targeted locations in Israel including an airfield near Israel's rumored nuclear facility, were likely intended to demonstrate Iran's capability to strike back and to exert pressure on Israel. The fact that some missiles penetrated Israel's air defenses could be interpreted as a warning of Iran's potential to inflict damage, even hinting at the possibility of a nuclear strike. Israel's restrained retaliation, involving a limited number of missiles and no prior warning, suggests a strategic choice to avoid further escalation while still sending a clear message of deterrence. The targeting of specific Iranian air defense sites, particularly near Iran's nuclear facilities, indicates Israel's focus on undermining Iran's military capabilities and possibly its nuclear ambitions, which Israel views with suspicion. This cycle of action and retaliation highlights the fragile balance of power in the region and the constant jockeying for strategic advantage. Both nations are showcasing their military capabilities while trying to avoid a full-scale conflict, aware that any miscalculation could lead to a significant escalation. The use of open-source satellite imagery for damage assessment further underscores the modern era of transparency and accountability in military operations, where claims can be independently verified. The situation remains tense, with the international community closely watching for any signs of further confrontation. Israel's hypothetical use of bunker buster airstrikes is indicative of its capability to penetrate Iran's air defense systems and potentially target critical infrastructure, such as Iran's nuclear facilities. The targeting of the Isfahan airbase, in particular, could be seen as a strategic move due to its proximity to Iran's largest nuclear facility, the Natanz enrichment complex. The downplaying of the exchange by both Israeli and Iranian state media suggests a mutual interest in preventing further escalation. Iran's focus on the emergence of the Iranian nation and Iranian military's will, rather than the specifics of the missile exchange, underscores a broader narrative of resilience and deterrence. The United States foreign aid package, which includes significant funding for Israel's air defense systems, reflects the strategic importance of air defense in the region. The allocation of $26 billion for Israel, with a portion for humanitarian aid in Gaza and the remainder for Israeli air defense, highlights the role of such systems in maintaining regional stability. Both Israel and Iran have incentives to claim their air defense systems were effective, as this project's strength and technological prowess. The absence of claims of extensive damage by Israel aligns with a cautious approach to avoid provoking a larger conflict. Overall, the situation remains delicate, with the potential for miscalculation leading to further confrontation. However, the current restraint shown by both sides, coupled with international support for defense capabilities, has, for the moment, averted a broader conflict.